Hey, long time no see over here. I have really been in a deep place of melancholy. This is one of the last podcast episodes I did on my podcast, which is Astrology and Human Design. If you aren't subscribed, go subscribe because there are a lot of gem episodes over there and timeless episodes. The last thing I did on there was talking about the burnout that sacral centers experience. Especially, there are certain channels that are attributed to melancholy. I've talked about this on my Insta and Twitter and Threads. I'll probably do a whole class on this in my membership. I literally, whenever I start talking about this stuff, y'all, I get so many ideas for classes in my membership. They are endless how many classes I have ideas to do, on my to-do list. And this brings me full circle to what I really wanted to talk about today, which is the fact that when you're living from your authority, everything happens in divine timing better than you could have forced it or predicted it to. So I'll get into a recent story from my life in regards to that, but I want to finish this thought of the melancholy, right? So the individual circuitry is really prone to experiencing melancholy, especially the format channels, which only one of the format channels is in the individual circuitry, but all of the format channels, which I have a blog post on this, if you're not familiar with what the format channels are and what kind of depression they show up as, go check out that blog post on my website because it walks you through them and how they show up. But the individual circuitry channels, like the 2034, the 360 is one of the format channels that's in the individual circuitry, are literally so prone to melancholy and depression, especially if you have a defined sacral center. And this is what I talked about in my most recent podcast episode, was the fact that I really, for the second half of this year, have been in a huge phase of melancholy and burnout. And it's really been hitting me hard. Not only that, but I'm in my Saturn return. That started in March. I had my Pluto sextile on and off for the last 2.5 years. That has been rough. So many major transits kind of just have been hitting my chart and are compounding all at once, right? So the second half of this year has really been about me decompressing, about me working less than I ever have in my entire life. I really ground out the last 3.5 years to build this well-oiled machine of teaching astrology and human design. And that started in 2020, and I really didn't stop doing until my Saturn return hit, and I kind of just slowed down this summer when I really started to feel that, because Saturn got real close to my Saturn. Even though my exact peak of Saturn return isn't until next March, I've been feeling it, y'all. I've been feeling it. Hey, Bailey. Excited you're here. Yeah, it's been so long since I've been on live because, like I said, I've been in a really intense phase of melancholy and just resting, giving myself a break, because I didn't for 3 years. I was just doing, creating, no matter my circumstances, because I wanted to build an empire teaching astrology and human design, and it's here. I mean, it's done. Y'all, if you're here, know how much content I have out there, on TikTok and my podcast and YouTube, even my blog posts. It's everywhere. The ebooks I've created, courses, all the classes in my membership. I think there's over 40 hours of content in my membership. It's just insane how much I see myself having created in the last 3 years when I look back. And I've talked about this in a couple podcasts, because the 2034 channel in me and my design is unconscious. So it really just does its own thing, and I'm just an innocent like watcher of it, observer of it, and it just amazes me like what my body has created from like that is the channel that has done all the things. And because it's unconscious, it's just happening and I'm just witnessing it. And it even shocks me, like I said, it even shocks me how much I've just done and created and produced in the last 3 years. So these last 6 months have really been about me slowing down, focusing on my health. 6th house Saturn return, y'all. And Saturn has been opposite my Chiron. It's been squaring my Jupiter there, or not my Jupiter, but my Venus. There's just been so much going on for me, and Venus is my chart ruler. So yeah, it's been fun, and I'm so glad and grateful I have these systems to give me a reason for like why this is all happening and give me more guidance and clarity over all of it too. It's really been profound and so insightful and so helpful. So what I've been doing, what I've like switched my energy to is like interior design, and I took up knitting for a little while, but I'm a Manny Gen, so I can't ever do one thing for too long. So yeah. But back to the story of like why I felt called to be here with you today. So this has been a huge lesson for me all year too, is not forcing myself, because I said at the beginning of this, I have so many ideas on my to-do list of like what I want to teach y'all next in the membership. And I'm working on a new ebook right now. And this is also a big part of all of this, is just really following my authority and like listening to my body. And right now it's like, okay, I don't have the consistent energy that I used to produce and produce and produce. I was literally at one point doing like 12 TikTok videos a day, and they're not all short videos anymore, y'all. Like the 6-second videos on TikTok are kind of like done with. And my videos are always longer in general because there's just so much information to teach on and talk about. But literally I was doing like 12 TikToks a day, like at least a minute long videos or more, for like 2.5 years. And so it's been a real big reframing and transition for me to be like, okay, I do not have the energy for that at this time. Checking in with myself and being like, that's not what my authority wants to do right now. That's not what I have the energy for, which ultimately is what your authority is telling you, right? Your authority is literally telling you, yes, you have the energy for this, do this, right? Which is going to create everything that's meant for you and everything that you're meant to do and the divine timing that you're meant to do it. And if you're not listening to it, you're really going to put yourself in a place of burnout, of exhaustion, of chaos, of anxiety, of bitterness, resentment, frustration, anger, right? All those not self themes. And so this has been a huge lesson for me as I felt called to really slow myself down and, how do I want to say that? Like switch what I'm doing, switch where my focus is, where my energy is. And it's shown up. It's funny, I was going to do this. I've had the idea. I've wanted to do this live video for 2 or 3 weeks. And the first half of this month, I just could not. I was also getting over some sickness that was on and off for a few weeks and just not feeling good because of that and everything else. And so what ended up happening is like I had this story that I wanted to come on here and share about really living your authority, right? And really following your authority. Because we get so in our heads about reading our charts and things like that. And it's easy to do. There's so much information out there on it, right? But we gotta remember the simplicity of the basics. Do you live and follow your authority in your day-to-day life? And when I originally got this idea to do this video, to do this live, I sat with it for a few days. There was an emotional channel transiting. Man, I can tell Mercury is retrograde because my words are just, it's taking me a minute. We had the 35-36 channel in transit. I think it was either last week or the week before last when I had the idea. to do this live. There was an emotional wave, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling the ups and downs. Let me just sit with this. I have an undefined solar plexus, so it was really showing up intensely for me. And I sat with it, didn't feel like doing it. And then the story of what I wanted to share with you all, actually, I remember it was the very beginning of this month because it was right after Black Friday, and I redecorated my entire house. Like I said, my authority has wanted to focus on, and my investigator has wanted to investigate interior design. So I watched all these interior design videos and redecorated my whole house. And I had this experience where I just went online and purchased all this stuff without really fully checking in with a lot of it. And I ended up having to cancel some orders and, just remeasure, redo kind of everything, repicture everything so that everything would fit in my house and it would just not be cluttered. You know what I mean? Redecoration stuff. So because I didn't actually check in with my authority when I was doing all of that stuff, I was just like, burr, 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 burr. I had to revisit it, which is a total manifesting generator thing. We want to move too quickly a lot of the times because we're just such fast creatures. And sometimes we have to redo things because of that. So I noticed that and I was like, okay, I'm going to go live and share the story. And I just, again, like I said, the energy kind of faded and it came back around this week. And that's why I'm here with you right now, is because I had the idea around that same time to make a new ebook based on the out of bounds moon, because we are currently in an out of bounds moon. It started on Monday right before the new moon, and it will be going on until Friday evening tomorrow. And the out of bounds moon, whenever it's transiting, creates a lot of chaos. A lot of chaotic energy. I just posted a video on Instagram about this and my TikTok last night about this, because in 2024, it's going to be happening twice a month for about 10 days out of every month. Basically 30% of next year, we're going to have an out of bounds moon. So it's really important to know about this, to know what it means, and to know, be prepared and be aware of okay, it's not me being unordinarily out of the ordinary, clumsy. It's the out of bounds moon, because that's really what it creates. It creates a lot of chaos. The example I shared on my video that I posted last night was I have these supplement squeeze packets that are kind of almond butter packets, and you just squeeze them into your mouth, whatever. Usually I don't have any problems with it because I'm an adult and I can it's easy to take things from a squeeze packet. But I literally had an experience where it missed my mouth and it went all over my face, all over my hair, and the wall behind me. And I was like, okay, that is not normal. There must be an out of bounds moon. And sure enough, I looked it up. We've had an out of bounds moon since Monday. And this is just so helpful to know because it creates little moments like that where things are just very chaotic and it's out of the usual. The out of bounds moon really is like the moon gone rogue. Okay, especially if you're born under an out of bounds moon, you might feel more at home during these times. Actually, I have a few friends that were born during out of bounds moons because there are phases of about a 1 to 3 year period every 18 years where an out of bounds moon is much more common than it normally is. And I have a lot of friends who were born in 1988, 1987, which is one of those times where there's a lot of out of bounds moon transits. And I can just see this in them where when there's an out of bounds moon transiting, they just feel like things are going great. Meanwhile, the whole world around us, everyone is just kind of crashing and burning seemingly. People will be driving crazy. You might see more accidents than usual. I shared that story of just chaotic things, dropping things, breaking things. It's just that happens with an out of bounds moon because like I said, it's a moon gone rogue. So I'm putting together this new ebook that is going to give you access to all of the dates for the out of bounds moon in 2024 and what zodiac sign it will be in, how to apply this to your chart. It'll literally be a guide to the out of bounds moon and what it means for you, how to tell how it's going to affect your chart. all the normal things that I teach on, right, is how to apply what's going on to your chart, because you are such an individual and no one can really give you a general synopsis of what's happening for you based on one aspect of your chart. So I've been putting together this ebook for like 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks now. And I was like, I really need to get this done. The mind comes in, right, and tries to be our authority. And on my mind, I'm just like, I need to get this done. I need to get this out there. Like 2024 is like 2 weeks away. I need to finish this, blah, blah, blah. And my mind's just going crazy, like rampant. And I'm not listening because I've learned my body is my authority. When it is the right time, when I have the energy to do this, it will get done like effortlessly and easily and probably faster than I could have imagined. And that's the beauty of following your authority and really living in tune with it and not listening to the mind. So sure enough, I was patient with my process, and things just lined up. Like I had to go get my tires replaced. I had to get new tires the other day, and I happened to take my laptop with me, and I just like had the energy to bust out the ebook. And now it's almost done, right? Whereas before my mind was like, we need to get this done, but like, oh my gosh, I have to do all these things, blah, 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 blah. The mind is such a chatterbox, as I'm sure you know. It is the inner roommate, as Eckhart Tolle says. So I waited until my authority wanted to do it, right? When it was the right time, when it was the perfect timing. And it just flowed so effortlessly out of me. I got it done within like an hour and a half while my tires were getting put on, So like, this is the power of following your authority. You never know. I didn't even know I was going to be getting my tires done this week because I had originally scheduled the appointment for the end of the month. And then they just emailed me that there was an opening, which worked out perfectly, right? So it's all about the divine timing of following your authority. That's really where the magic lies. And this is what this whole video is about. Are you really living your authority? Are you really following it? Are you really letting it be your compass, your decision-making process that it is meant to be? And this is a journey. I've been doing this since I really started living it 2021, so almost 3 years. And it's still a journey for me. It's still a daily reminder of like, okay, you didn't listen to your authority and now you're frustrated, right? And really that's what the not self and the self themes are for, is to give you those buffers of knowing when you're really following your authority, because when you are, you will feel, for me, I'm a manifesting generator, so my signature feelings are satisfaction and peace. And when I feel those, I know that I've followed my authority. But when I feel frustrated, when I feel angry, that's when I know I didn't listen to my authority and I tried to live from my mind, right? So all of this is a guidance system for you. It truly is. There's a reason I call it your user manual, your instruction manual, because it is, and it's really meant to guide you through just the insane chaos we face on a daily basis of life. And it takes experimentation, it takes awareness, and it takes a lot of trial and error to learn what yours is, how it works for you, how it shows up for you. I would say it's really tough for emotionals especially to learn this. It takes more time. Same with reflectors, but that's a part of your journey too, is like the trial and error of it, and not expecting yourself to be perfect with it and get it right away, because you've been living your life for so long so differently than how you're meant to based on your chart. So that is my story. And the Out of Bounds Moon, if y'all are interested, will be live soon. If you're on my email list, you'll get notified. I just did something in the chat, went away. Oh wait, there it's back. So you'll get notified when it's ready. for purchase. I am almost done with it, like I said. So I'm really excited about it. And it's just crazy to me that we have the out of bounds moon happening so many times in 2024. And I don't mean to scare anybody. I really feel like this is going to bring about a lot of positive change. Because the out of bounds moons, people that are born under an out of bounds moon are really the rebels of our society. They're really the construct breakers, the paradigm shifters. And so the fact that this is happening so many times in 2024 indicates to me that 2024, this is also going to be something that happens a lot in 2025. So I'll probably be releasing another guide for 2025 as well. But I'm going to stick to 1 year at a time right now and do 2024. But the fact that this is happening so much in the next 2 years indicates to me that we're really in a huge time of change, which is also mirrored by Pluto being in Aquarius and Saturn being in Pisces. Saturn is about to wrap up a 30-year cycle, right? When it moves into Aries, that will be like a new beginning with Saturn. Pluto is not too far behind, although because Pluto moves so slow, it's kind of far behind, but it's catching up. And Neptune is right there too with Saturn as ending out Neptune will be I think 70-year cycle or it's either 70 years or 150 years that Neptune takes a cycle through all 12 signs. We just had Chiron finish out a 50-year cycle. So like all of this stuff is indicating major endings and new beginnings. And we're really seeing that reflected in our society where people are ready for change. They're feeling the need to shift the paradigms, to shift how we're existing in our society, to shift the systems and the structures in place in our society. And we're right in the middle of it. You chose to be born in this life when you did for a reason, to take part in this big, great shift that we're all in. And so I see it as a very exciting thing. It's going to bring a lot of change, but the last almost 4 years now, the last 3 to 4 years have really grown our resilience and our ability to handle change and transformation. So the work that you've been doing is going to be paying off. I mean, it is already paying off, even though it's not over yet. But it's just about really connecting with yourself, connecting with your dream, and starting to share that with the world. I talk about this in my weekly update that I do with my... Wait, it always confuses me, the backwardsness, with my Astro board. Every week, Saturn's been in Pisces, right? Working towards your dream, staying disciplined and committed to the vision that you have, and finding new ways of financial abundance, of what you define success as. All these things are really changing, and we're breaking outside of the norms of society. And the out of bounds moon happening so many times in the next 2 years just really is a huge confirmation of that, and that we're really experiencing that as a collective. So yeah, I'm excited. Bailey says, I love all your TikTok videos. I have learned so much from you. Oh, yay. That's the go. Glad to hear it. And it just did something weird with my chat, and it just logged me out of my chat. But if y'all posted something, that's maybe why I haven't seen it. But if you have any questions, I'm here for maybe 5 or so more minutes. To answer y'all questions. I do have a blog post on the out of bounds moon, and I have a class on it in my membership. I literally have a class on almost everything in my membership. I've done so many lessons in there. So I've taught so much in there that I honestly sometimes forget what all I have in there. I have a blog post on the out of bounds moon, and I have a class on it in my membership. It just it just logged me into straight up like watching this live. That's so weird. Okay, Mercury is retrograde. We're experiencing technical difficulties. Let me see here. Let's try again. Show me the chat. The Void says, question. How can I work with you directly? Human design chart readings, purpose, natal chart readings. I'm not taking readings right now. I actually just decided to do that today. Probably until February or March of next year, I won't be doing any readings, but I do interact a lot in my membership. So y'all that are in my membership will get one-on-one time with me, like through anything you post. Yeah, that's the best place to connect with me one-on-one, because I don't answer my own emails. I don't answer my own DMs. That's the best place to connect with me in real time. There's like a community forum in there, and I encourage everyone that joins the membership to post their chart to meet other people who have similar chart placements and things, and then I will answer personal chart questions in my membership too. And I do more lives in my membership, like this one on here, but they're not just like me talking usually. They're usually more geared to one topic. And it's like teaching a class is what I do in my membership. And I post a lot about my personal transits, what's going on for me, and encourage y'all to interact and share what's going on for you. And then I do have a class in my membership on looking at your charts for life purpose. So it literally teaches you like what I do in my life purpose readings. It teaches you my method for that, of what to look at, what to connect together. It's a really great class for that. The Void says, and question in regards to a manifesting generator. She says she has trouble focusing on one task. My advice was not to focus on just one task, but do what comes. And if you need to put something down for a minute, it doesn't mean you are putting it away. It means you'll come back to it if you feel The Void, are you in my membership? I feel like you would really love it if you're not in it already. I'm honestly kind of shocked you're not. Because it is the perfect place for this kind of stuff. There's, like I said, there's a community forum where people can ask questions about their chart or doing readings for other people. But yeah, I would definitely mirror that. I think it depends on what channels this person has that makes them a manifesting generator for sure. Like if they have gate 9, they're probably going to have the ability to focus more than any other manifesting generator. If they don't have the 2034 channel, they're probably going to be able to focus a little more too. The 2034 really adds that like ADHD energy, I like to call it. But yeah, it's really detrimental for MGs to force themselves to finish things when they don't have the energy for it, or to stay focused doing it, right? When it's time to finish something, and this is what I was talking about with my Out of Bounds Moon guide that I'm putting together for 2024, like, and even everything I've done. When I built my membership website, I literally did it in like a day, because it was just like, okay, I have the energy to do this. I'm not going to stop until it's done, kind of thing. And then I've revamped it. I've revamped everything I've done that I've finished. I've gone back and made things better, like my human design report. I mean, everything I've put out into the world, I've like gone back and made it and refined it after I've shared it with the world, launched it. Like even my courses, I just added a new welcome video to, like things like that. I'm always refining things. But when I've noticed that like I sit down to do something and finish it, it's because I like want to, and it just happens so naturally. It's not something I have to like force myself to do. It just literally flows out of me effortlessly. The Void says, I'm not in your membership. I messaged your website. Somebody got back to me saying you don't do readings. Yeah, my membership is the only place to talk with me directly. I have an assistant for my DMs, for my email. I really keep the membership container sacred in that way. It's literally only $15 a month. But that's a really intentional space where I have prioritized connecting with you all that are in there. The Void says, my sister is an MG and she has to do like a bunch of stuff in the background to focus on completing a task. She struggled working with generators in the workforce because, yeah, they're so generator. Yeah, totally. I don't think manifesting generators do well in the workforce. I think projectors can, if done right. I think generators can. I mean, that's what they're built for. But manifesting generators, again, like I said, every chart is different. So it really depends on what is in her chart that makes up her definition, what makes her a manifesting generator. It really depends. But yeah, I really loathe generalizing anything because each chart is so different. And you really got to read it for the holistic picture that it is. Sadvi says, I think I'm living my design 2-4 spleen root manifester. Workforce, it really depends. Awesome. I love 2-4s. I meet a lot of 2-4s. My mom is a 2-4. Y'all are just so naturally gifted at whatever it is you do. The Void says, it flowing out of you effortlessly. Is that due to not having the sacral? I'm a projector. I think I'm going to look into joining that. It flowing out. I'm confused. I have a sacral. So, and that's my authority channel is the 2034 and it's unconscious. So whenever like I said, feel called to do something, it just happens so naturally and effortlessly. It's like I'm just watching my body doing it. Because my manifesting generator channel is a 2034 connected to the sacral from the throat and unconscious. The fact that it's unconscious is why it just happens like when it does and I can't control it. Versus, let's see, what channel do I have that's conscious? My 4426 channel is conscious. So that one I'm like always thinking of, like entrepreneurial stuff. Whenever I'm talking with my friends and they're like, oh, and they're just like talking about something they're good at. This is so second line too. I'm seeing it so clearly. Like, how do you know like that? How are you so good at that? And I'm like, you are so good at that. And then my conscious mind is like, oh my God, you could turn that into a podcast. You could blah, 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 blah. That's a 4426. That's like an example of a conscious channel versus an unconscious channel. I can't control my 2034. It literally just happens. And that's what I mean by like flowing out effortlessly. So, and I have a sacral, so I can't speak to what it is for an undefined sacral. And this is why human design is an experiment and you have to see how this shows up for you. Sadvi says, at resting, really good at resting. Yeah, manifestors need a lot of rest. Anyone that doesn't have a sacral needs a lot of rest. My best friend is a manifestor and she needs a lot more rest than I do. Which is funny because not like sleep rest, but just downtime. Watching Netflix, reading books, like in meditation. She meditates more than anyone I've ever met. And yeah, it really helps with her manifestorness. The Void says, I was referring to that inspiration, whatever brings you. I thought the MGs didn't have a defined sacral. Oh, no, they do. That's what makes them a manifesting generator. If they weren't If they didn't have a defined sacral, they would be a manifester. I talk about this in my human design course, like what makes each type, the circuitry. Like I just said, as an example, anyone that doesn't have a sacral is going to be one of 3 types: reflector, manifester, projector. Defined sacrals: generator, manifesting generator. And I talk about in my human design course exactly what makes up each type. So manifestors have a defined throat. That's what makes them a manifester, connected to a motor center. So anyways, I'm not going to go into that, but I do break it down in my course, what makes each type that type, because it's not just like they're given that type. The circuitry creates your type. The circuitry in your chart, the channels you have, create your aura. It's not just something you're given. It's based on the placements, what gates they're in, and what channels are created from those placements. Safi says, and a 2-4 manifester. I'm literally off half the time. Yeah. I have another friend who's a 2-4 manifester, and yeah, that's her too. My best friend is a 6-2 manifester, so she does have that too, but she's also wanting to be on the roof a lot of the times because she's a 6 line. The Void says, just like zoned out rest, no mental processes. Yeah, for sure. I find that when my 6-2 manifestor friend and I spend a lot of time together, because I have I'm all defined except for my root and my solar plexus, and she's very open. She only has 3 centers defined, so whenever we're together, she's really feeling all my mental stuff because I have a defined crown and ajna and throat that's connected to my throat. And yeah, it's just so funny to see that happening. And she was like, yeah, she just recently visited, and when she went back home, she was like, yeah, I got alone time, and it just all drained out of me. It was just so funny to see that. And I was like, yep, those open centers, they really amplify whoever you're around that has them defined, or if you make any channels together that make them defined when you're with someone. Which I have a class on that in my membership too, relationship astrology. I also have one on relationship astrology. Wait, did I just say that? Relationship human design. The human design of relationships. And I have one on relationship astrology, reading synastry charts. Oh, the Void is a 2-4 projector. Nice. Savi says, rest has to be the opposite of what I was already doing. Wow, she gets super activated. Yeah. I have 5 undefined, so I can feel it too. Oh, wow. Yeah, so you only have 4 defined. Most manifestors I've met are really open. Someone just joined my membership and there's like a section to post your charts and like say hi and find your chart twin. And they just posted their chart, and they're a manifester. They're what is their profile? I forget. 1-3 maybe? No, I don't remember. But I do remember their chart being so defined, and I was like, that is so rare for a manifestor. Usually manifestors are pretty open. Even projectors too. I've seen some defined projectors, and I'm like, whoa, your energy is way different than other projectors because you're so defined. That definition really like makes someone, it really comes across super strong. Reflector in personality and in design. Wow, yeah. That's my best friend too. She's a... Oh, I gotta charge my laptop. She's a reflector in both her personality and design, and she's like much more sensitive than other manifestors I've met. So that is a thing. I love seeing that play out. Like my mind, I've talked about this before in various videos, but I have so much content. my conscious side is a projector and my unconscious side is the Manny Jin. So a lot of times I feel like a projector, but I'm not, which is a really interesting conundrum. I will be right back, y'all. I'm gonna get my charger so my laptop doesn't die. I want to respond to y'all's questions if you have any more, and then I'll probably say goodnight. I'm back. Another thing I've been working on that is very manifesting generator of me is my 2024 update. Like, I'll be doing a full update for 2024 going into not only the astrology and transits of 2024, but the human design transits of 2024. And that is something I'll be doing live in my membership. I'll be doing it before the year ends. We got a little time. All right, let me read y'all. Y'all's comments. Oh wow, Facebook groups show so many different kinds of manifestors. That's really cool. I love the circuitry of the 57 and where it leads. It leads to the 34, it leads to the 20, it leads to the 10. If I had to choose some favorite channels, those would be it, because they're just so fun. Anyone I've met, I'm like missing the 57 because I'm a split definition. And anyone I've met that has the 57, we just vibe so instantly. It's like we can just like banter with each other and have fun. It's always just a great time. I feel like the 57 is really lighthearted energy. Oh, the moon really affects your manifestation schedule. Yeah. The moon takes time. That's why reflectors have to be so patient with their process and with how they make decisions. Yeah, void moons really do kill initiation because nothing comes from a void moon. Nothing. It's void. It's like whatever you're doing during that time, it's void. And that's why I love the astrology planner that I've been talking about for the last couple months. I think it's the last chance to get yours before the new year. In each, I'll just show y'all real quick if I can. This week has a lot on it because this is from last year, but it will list off the void of course. Oop, focus. The days that the moon goes void of course, and then from the times that it goes void of course. And that has been so helpful. The void of course moon happens so often, it's easy to forget. And I have an emotional wave class in the membership that walks through all the emotional channels and like how to utilize your emotional authority. I talk about the void of course moon in there because it's so helpful for emotionals to find solar plex peeps. But I really think anyone should know about it because, yeah, it creates this really shifty energy. I just think the 57 is like, especially when you're aligned with it, it's just very instinctual. It's very fun and lighthearted, like I said. It's very like present in the moment, listening to your intuition and acting on it. Especially if you have the 20 or you're with someone that has the 20. Because it's like that instinctual knowing in the now and speaking it out loud. Because 57 is Libra energy. 20 is Gemini energy. So, when Geminis and Libras get together, they won't have a good time. That air energy. People think as a manifester I should be faster. Yeah, it's tough about having an undefined sacral. I've been really realizing how important my unconscious moon is lately. It literally, I feel like it runs your life without you knowing it, because it's in the unconscious side, and the moon in human design is what drives you. And mine is in gate 47, which is all about like organization and structure. And if y'all saw my house, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's gate 47. Everything has a place. Everything is super organized. My house always looks like a showroom because I don't leave messes anywhere. It's super organized. Gate 47. The most Virgo gate, I feel like. Oh, the moon the moon does run people's energy without their knowing it. Oh, you both have the 2057. Awesome. Yeah, Gemini and Libras together are a whole vibe. Try to keep up. Probably can't. That's like the 2057. That's how I think of the 2057. Is like, it's just like like birds. And that's really rare for a projector to have a defined throat. I feel like most projectors I've seen don't have that. I want my room that clean. Habits. I've done a lot of research into training your brain, and like how, habit. What is that called? I don't know. I've researched habits, how to build good habits for yourself. Yeah. Yeah, the 2057 is a vibe. It's a vibe. All right, well, I have a thing, but it was so fun to chat with y'all. Watch the replay if you're just joining. Come join my membership because it's the best place to learn from me and connect with me. And yeah, if you're on my email list, you'll get notified when the 2024 Out of Bounds Moon Guide becomes available. I just posted a video about that on my Instagram stories, the Out of Bounds Moon. We have one until tomorrow night. And we're going to have one every 2 weeks for the next year or so. So really important to know that that's going on and when it's going to be happening and how to prepare. Yay! Thanks, The Void. Thanks, Sadvi. I will see y'all next time.